Let's get into some shite. Hi, folks. Welcome to Apocalyptic. I am Rick. I am recording. I am doing a video. See, this is not a video podcast. Rarely do videos, and this is one of the rare video shows. So I told you I would do one. I told you I would do it. So here's the thing. I was going to do one last week, and let me just back up and just say I'm not going to look at the camera here. I'm not going to be looking at you because it throws me off. I don't know if you ever try to do a podcast by yourself and then you're looking at yourself, it's really, really weird. And plus, when I'm doing a podcast, so first of all, now I don't have the face for a video podcast. You could tell. This is not the face for a video podcast. So I'm much better not seen, I think. And not only that, but when I'm doing the show, I have to think about things because, I'm just talking extemporaneously and things just like pouring out of my head. So a lot of times I have my eyes closed like Gilbert Gottfried used to do and just like going, and that doesn't look good on the video. So I apologize for those watching the video. You're going to see a lot of weird stuff. I'll make some eye connection really quick just to show you I can do it. But I'm going to kind of ignore the video camera if you don't mind. It's kind of a weird thing, but I did promise I would do it. I've got a new setup here in my podcast studio, which will allow me to do videos. I'm going to do a few more video, and this is one of them. But the thing is, as I've been recording, so the last, I would say week, every day for the last week, I get ready to do a podcast, and this storm comes in. These summer storms come into Atlanta and just shut the electricity down almost every day for a week. And it's totally screwed me up. So yesterday I was going to do a show. I couldn't do it. Today I get ready to do a show. Storm is coming, so I don't know. We'll see what happens if everything gets shut down. We'll see. It could. Maybe everything will be fine. I hope so. If it does shut down, maybe we'll do some editing and we'll come back. What do you think? I do have my coffee here. I got a lot to talk about today. This might be a long show with the video. And with the storm, who knows? I got a few things, a lot of different weird things to talk about. I want to start off with this. All right, you might know if you listen to the show. If this is your first time, welcome. Don't get used to the video. Occasionally, I'll do a video, but you can download the podcast, the audio podcast, anywhere that you get podcasts. Pretty much, and I hope that you do. I would love to see you subscribe. All right, so I'm going to say that if you've been listening for a long, I've been doing a lot podcasts for a long time, and that I have a gripe kind of about where I'm classified in generations. All right, so there is the boomer generation, which I'm not a boomer. If you look up, if you go to Wikipedia and look up boomer and go by dates, I'm at the very tail end of that. So my parents were boomers. I'm not a boomer. I don't relate to boomer culture. I don't relate to boomer music, movies, anything boomer stuff. I'm pretty much not a boomer. All right. Baby boomer, by the way. So, but I'm also, so Gen X is the next generation right there. And Gen X kind of goes, I don't know. I relate to a lot of Gen X stuff, but I don't feel like I'm Gen X. So I'm like right in between the boomers and the Gen Xers, and I'm stuck right in there. And there's a generation of people, about 5 years, and let's say 1960 to 1965, which is where I fall. Barack Obama also falls into that category. Other people do as well. And I don't think we feel like we belong there. We don't listen to the Grateful Dead. We do. Some people do. I have friends who do, younger than me. All right. But that's not my music. My music, I'm going to say what we call new wave. Okay, in the 80s, The Police, Thompson Twins, Tears for Fears, new wave, pop, George Michael, Cyndi Lauper, all of that. That's, it's 80s music. But that was kind of like, that was when I was in college. A lot of people say it should be when you're in high school. Whatever. But I don't feel like that's my generation. So so I always feel like that the Gen X music is like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and the grunge music that happened in the 90s, right? And then the boomer generation is back in Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. I'm not saying you can't like eating, if wherever you fall, you can like music from any generation. But I'm stuck in kind of right in the middle. It's really sort of a 5-year thing. Now, I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's something that sociologists have studied, probably not a lot of time studying it, but they've come up with other names. They've tried to name this generation with kind of the lost generation. And someone came up with I've heard 2 words. One was the tweeners, which is one of the stupidest names. Don't call us tweeners. I don't want to be in any generation that rhymes with wiener, okay? The other one, in which I don't totally understand, is Generation Jones. All right. So that one's kind of been picked up and I think given a little bit of legitimacy. Generation Jones. Jen Jones. It sounds like a person. I knew a Jen Jones, actually. So I don't want to be that. All right. So I don't know. But guess what? Hey, I came up with the perfect one. So here's the thing. My generation, does this interest you at all? Do you? Is this something that you're into at all? It doesn't matter. Listen, this is interesting, and I need your help because I need you to pick up and help me to carry this to the masses. All right. So my generation, those 5 years, 60 to 65, we're old. All right. Just play along because we'll be dead in a few years. But we're not boomers and we're not Gen X, so we're in the middle there. So we should be Zoomers. With an X, Xoomers, Zoomers. That was my thing. I'm just like, I like that. I would be a Zoomer, and we could spell it X. X, like, that's something definitely Elon Musk can get behind. He loves the X. So that was it, man. I just kind of felt like we're going to be the Zoomers. I'm going to start spreading the gospel of the Zoomers, and then I found out, which isn't really fair, Gen Z, which is, they're the kids, right? The young people, Gen Z, they're calling them Zoomers, which isn't fair. You're either Gen Z or you're Zoomers. You can't be both. I proclaim that. You can't be both, but they're both. So we can't be Zoomers because Gen Z is a Zoomers, but I say we stick with it. And we keep the X-Zoomers and we call ourselves the Exhumers. Yeah, we're the Exhumers. I can live with that. So I'm of the Exhumer generation. It sounds like we're bringing people back from the dead, which is what we do. We do that. A lot of our culture is dead and we bring it back. We're kind of, I think we might rehashed. I don't think we rehashed. I think we redid and made better a lot of things. My generation did. Yeah, that's what I want to be, the Exhumer. So I feel like we can make this catch on. If you're in that generation, that little few years, you're going to want to do this. If you're not, you don't care. I know this. I know you don't care. Don't pretend like you do. But I would say, if you care about people, give us an identity. We need an identity. We still, I just feel like, here's what I remember in that era was, again, you got to be old to remember this. When The Big Chill came out, remember that? Everybody was like, oh, this is the boomer movie. This is the movie that all boomers are going to love, The Big Chill. And they acted like it was the greatest thing, and it had this legitimacy. And then my generation of actors, the Brat Pack, Brat Pack. That's my actors, the Brat Pack. They came out with St. Elmo's Fire and every media thing called The Little Chill. That wasn't fair. And then when they did, they made fun of it half the time too. I'm not saying it was the greatest movie in the world, but my whole generation, you either had the boomers rolling their eyes or Gen X rolling their eyes. Everybody's rolling. We could be the eye roll. We should be the eye rolls. That's it. You know, they're like the Rick rolls. We're the eye rolls. I still like Exhumers. How you doing out there? How's your week? How's everything going for you? Are you making it through the storm, the summer, the hot, the fires? Just craziness that's happening. Weather, fires, burning stuff up. The oceans and the rivers, the temperature is rising so high that it's killing off the fish, wildlife. It's going to get worse, people. Because there's so many people who just don't care. They don't. Here's the thing. They would think, no, it's not happening when it's happening in front of you. Or they don't care because they think they're going to a better place. You know? There are some people who are wrapped up in cults and religions and stuff like that, which, by the way, I want to talk about in a few minutes. And they just believe that this is all sending them to a better place. I don't know. I don't think it's true. So here's the thing. I'm looking at this video. Now this is not too bad. The other day I did a video that I put up, and what I discovered on the video is I could see where I'm getting a thin spot. There it is, right there in my hair. I've never had a problem with going bald. It's just not something. I never had a bald spot. I've always had a lot of hair. Both my grandfathers had a lot of hair, big, thick, lots of hair. So I kind of caught. My dad's was thin. My dad sort of went a little bald, but I've never had that issue. So I've just been coasting along, and here I am as an old guy now, and thinking I'm going to have hair all the way up until I'm dead. And then like a few weeks ago, I start noticing, and I did a video and I could see this spot here. If you're watching the video, you're going to see what I'm talking right there. That's it. I'm having a bald spot. I'm a little anxious about it. You know, my wife was like, maybe you should start using Rogaine. You should get that shampoo stuff. No, what? It's like getting a facelift at my age. Why would you do that? I'm supposed to be bald, right? You're supposed to look like an old person. I just want to sail into old person land as an old person. I don't want to be like Kenny Rogers, try to look like I'm 20 again. And then everybody's like, what happened to Kenny? What happened to Kenny's face there? And on the other actors, sorry, Kenny, I didn't mean to pick on you. I think Kenny, in the end, mostly looked pretty good. I think he had a pretty good surgeon, right? Right. But there are some people I don't want to talk about. I see it all the time. Some people that aren't that old, people younger than me that have had face work. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. And we know it. We look at you and we know. And that's fine. If you feel comfortable with it, if you did it and you're like, I look so much better in my face that no one knows, but we all know. We can all tell. You don't look like you did in your sitcom. And obviously we're getting old, but here's the thing. I know a lot of actors and actresses, know of them, who have had no work at all. They're getting old and they're okay. You're supposed to be getting old. Anyway, my hair looks awful. I might get some Rogaine. I don't know. Should I do some Rogaine? My hair's long, but see, here's the thing. From the side, it started traveling up in my 40s. I was like, oh my gosh, I got like a widow's peak, you know, and the corner just started traveling up and I got really nervous and then it quit. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. And I've lived with it for quite a while. And then now this is happening and I got the little thing here in the front that's it's thinner than it should be. It's going to creep back. God, dang it. I'm going to have to get used to it. Here's what I did. So now I shouldn't talk about this, I guess. because my hair was doing this, and my scalp was itching. Should I talk about that? That's kind of a personal thing. People don't want to know when you have itchy scalp, and I don't normally. It just started happening, so I thought there was some kind of correlation. I thought, well, maybe my itchy scalp that I'm having might be. Well, first of all, it could be fleas. It's flea season, and I do have long hair, so I haven't had the front line yet, but I thought it could be that. It could be some kind of like skin condition. I don't know. And then when my hair starts falling out, I'm thinking, uh-oh, is there a thing between the itch and the hair falling out? So I went and I bought Selsun Blue. Selsun Blue shampoo, which you don't have. I mean, it's rare that you use the Selsun Blue, right? I'm surprised they still have it. So when I was growing up, my dad had every once in a while would have Tegrin. Remember that? If you're an exhumer, you know what I'm talking about. Tegrin shampoo. Tegrin. It was the first real like itchy scalp shampoo that I knew of, and it came in like a tube, like toothpaste, right? But it smelled like shoe polish. It was nasty. You put it in your hair. Ugh. It was horrible. I tried it just because when you're a kid, you try things, you know, and I was like, never again. But then Selsun Blue, it's a better shampoo. It's in a nicer bottle and comes out, but it's still, you put that, it's like squid ink. It's like really, 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 really blue. Like it's like you could dye your blue jeans with this stuff, and you put it in your hair, and your hands turn blue. But it does seem to work. Did it for a while. My head no longer itches, so I just have it in case I might need it later. I don't even know why I told you this. I think it's something now people are not going to want to sit in the same room with me. It's not catching, I swear. You don't have to wear a mask. It's not like COVID. Selsun 19. What else do I want to talk about? So here's something I'm if you know, again, if you listen to the podcast, you know that I'm a big ASMR guy, right? I listen to ASMR every night, really, seriously, I do. Now, if you don't know anything about ASMR, I'm really not going to get into it very much. Just do some research. But I will say, just for the sake of understanding what I'm talking about, ASMR has kind of become an industry about relaxation, okay? Because you can watch all these ASMR videos on YouTube, and they're relaxing. They're very relaxing. Some of them more relaxing than others. People get really creative with it, and then they do role plays. They pretend like they're a barber. They pretend like they're a surgeon. They're doing a brain exam. I don't know. They won't pretend like they're murdering you. That's true. I've seen these role plays where they've kidnapped you and tied you up, and they talk to you. They're crazy. It's inventive. So if you get into that, if you're really into the crazy actions make me relaxed vibe, then ASMR may be for you. If you don't like the crazy thing, just regular things are too. Like they'll just do a whole thing of clothes touching. They'll touch their clothes or fold a towel or fold underwear or whatever. And you watch it, I watch it, and I'm drooling before it's over. Because anytime somebody whispers to me, I'm like, I'm the Tasmanian Devil on the Bugs Bunny show. Again, all exhumers know what I'm talking about. When the Tasmanian Devil would go crazy and Bugs Bunny would play the violin, and the Tasmanian Devil, his jaw would just, and then he would drool, and he would be like a zombie. That's me listening to ASMR. That's what I do. And so people watching shows on TV, on Hulu, I can't even think of them. The Bear, big thing right now. There's been tons of them people talk about. And everybody's online saying, did you watch the new episode of The Bear? It's awesome. It's the best TV ever. And I'm thinking, no, I was watching someone fold a towel. That's what I watch. I binge watch ASMR videos on YouTube. I can't help it. I fall asleep to that almost every single night. So here's the thing. My wife can't stand them. She won't listen to them. It drives her nuts. But we did find something that we have in common, and that is atmospheric relaxation videos. And I don't know if you can even call this ASMR, Maybe you can. None of it is true ASMR. I will tell you that. It's not. If you know what ASMR is, none of it is real. ASMR is not really just about relaxation. It's about other things, but let's not be purists, okay? I got into a video someone posted 10 hours of nothing but rain falling in the forest. 10 hours. You think that's boring? Maybe it is, but at nighttime, you put that on, it's the most relaxing thing. I just sit there. I mean, and the great thing about 10 hours is you can put it in when you go to sleep and it's still playing when you wake up and you've wet your pants. No, that's never happened yet. But I do wonder, like in the middle of the night, is it like changing my dreams? I don't know. It could be. But it's so relaxing. Anyway, I'll try to post a link to that particular video, 10 hours. Now, here's the thing. You can find tons of this stuff. I was listening to one last night, which was fire. It was like 4 hours of fire. And I got maybe 2 minutes in, and I was like, this is not for me. I don't know what it was. The fire I like fire. Now, the thing about fire is if in person, it's great. So if I set my bedroom on fire, I would go to sleep immediately. But watching it or listening to it on YouTube just doesn't work. But the rain, it does. And here's the other thing. This is a secret for me is I can't follow anything that has a loop. Anytime that I can hear, I used to have a little thing you put in your bedroom and it would loop. And every time it was the same bird that would come around every 2 minutes. I was like, there's that damn bird. And it would get bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, I want to throw that thing across the room. I can't do that. So I can't have anything that's on a loop or that at least that I can recognize that's on a loop. So this rain, I'm not going to be able to find an individual raindrop and know that it's coming back. So I don't know how much of it is on a loop. But 10 hours, somebody stood out there for 10 hours and recorded rain falling in the forest. You can also find rain on an umbrella, rain on streets is out there, rain in a Zen garden. I don't know the difference of all these. It's just rain to me. But rain in the forest, the reason I like it, when it hits the ground, it's really soft. So you're hitting that pine straw and some plants, and it's just not. I think that was pretty close. It's not like really in your face. So it's so relaxing. So anyway, I'm going to try to post just in case you need it for sleeping. You might. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you. Speaking of help, we do have a listener line, 678-348-0008. This is a line that we put out there for you. 678-678-348-0008. Now, you can call that number any time of day, anytime you want, and you can leave a message, and I will put your message on the podcast. You can talk about whatever you want. Comment on something that I say. You can talk about how much you hate the podcast. I don't care. Just do it. And if you're shy and you don't want your voice to be on the podcast, you can text that exact same number, 678-348-0008. I will read your text, you shy person, on the podcast. It's a good way to participate. It's a good way to be famous. You could put your name on it. If you don't want your name on it, you could sign it The Bear, if you want to, or just a random exhumer, and put that on. But I'm also available through email, rick@apocalyptic.com. You could do that. Find me on Facebook. I hide out on Facebook, Threads, Instagram. Those are the places where I'm there, and you can send me something if you want. Just communicate like rain in the forest. It's just the sound of you, relaxing sound of you on Apocalyptic. And thank you. And I would love for you to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Even if you subscribe, you don't have to listen to the podcast. You can subscribe and never listen again. But that just makes me feel good. And also just put a little review up there if you like it. If you don't like it, don't review it, because it doesn't do anything for me. I was thinking today, there was a reason why I was thinking about this, which I won't go into, but I was thinking about all the smelly places I've lived my whole life. How about you? Have you lived in smelly places? I feel like that sentence should have been said with a British accent. Have you lived in smelly places? That's not the best accent, was it? I have lived in some places that were very when I say smelly, I don't necessarily mean negative smell. Although the first one was when I was growing up. There was a guy, a man who owned a sawmill down on the other side of our house who also slaughtered hogs. And he slaughtered hogs all summer. And it's nasty too because you're out playing and then you hear this hog squeal, just it's dead, it's dying, it's awful. I grew up with that, and that's how I ended up as I am. Squealing hogs. But the thing is, in the summertime, when you kill hogs, after a while, that scent gets into the air, and boy, it's not good. So I remember when I was a kid growing up, we would have the smell of sawdust, which is awesome, and then occasionally in the summer when it got really, really hot, nasty dead hog smell, which is not good. So that's one stinky place I lived. And I was visiting a place out in the country once, and that same smell, I knew exactly what it was. I was like, somebody's out here slaughtering livestock. I could tell. Either cow, pig, I don't know, chickens. They're doing it because the blood, I don't want to go into all the details, but you can tell. So that's one. Where else did I live? There's a place I lived in East Tennessee. I no longer live there, but there's a place called Calhoun in between Knoxville and Chattanooga, and there's a big paper plant right down there. If you ever travel down there, you can't miss it. That paper plant stinks. Now, I lived right on the other side of Calhoun in a little city called Athens. And every day the air smelled like nasty, dirty laundry. It just stunk all the time. I only lived there for about 6-7 months. And I always feel bad for people who live there their whole life and they have to smell that paper plant. And I'm not sure if they get used to it, but I know like in the evening or in the afternoons, it would be worse. So like different times of the day, I don't know if they're releasing the chemicals or what, but God, it's just nasty. Almost rather smell hog smell than that chemical, just dirty laundry chemical smell. So that another stinky place that I lived in my life. Now, here's a couple of good ones. I lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and this is old. I don't think it still goes on. But when I was growing up in Knoxville, in the morning when you would go downtown, the JFG coffee plant would be belching off their roasting odors. And boy, that smells good. Got that fresh coffee, ground roasted coffee in the morning. Ooh, that smelled good. It kind of, it was mixed with some diesel and gasoline exhaust and stuff like that. The buildings that were polluting the air kind of mixed in with the coffee, but it has that urban. You just feel like you're in the city. And I always think about that with Knoxville. It's just one of those things. Early morning coffee smell driving through Knoxville. It's so good. I'd love. I think it's why I still love to smell coffee in the morning. I also, this is a side thing. This is my first smell with beer was in Knoxville at the UT football games, and I loved that smell before I even tasted beer, and I still love it. Love the smell of beer. I like the taste too, but yeah, coffee and beer from Knoxville. If you've ever been there, you know it's appropriate. And then finally, I lived in Collegedale, Tennessee, which is just north of Chattanooga, and it's where the Little Debbie snack cake plant is. And this is true. I lived in a place, you come out of your house in the afternoon, early, especially in the morning, and all of the air smells like chocolate cake. It's wonderful. One of the best things, best place when I live, just going out. If you have a choice between slaughtered hog and Little Debbie chocolate cake, pick the cake. It's so much better. And it's just because I was several miles from it, but yet it's just everywhere in the air. I guess if you're allergic to chocolate, maybe you don't want to smell it. Although it wouldn't do anything, I don't think. You could be diabetic and smell that. It's not going to hurt you. It's a great smell. So anyway, that's some scents. That's some smells. That's some smelly places that I've lived. Don't know why I was thinking about that necessarily. Other thing I want to talk about. One more thing I want to talk about. Don't deny me. Why is it that we have this impulse to want to squash people's fun? You know what I'm saying? And it's not everybody, but it seems like it's everybody. No matter what you design, no matter what you do, if you form an organization, if you have if you do something where you're having a good time, there's always somebody who wants to shut you down. And I don't understand why that is. And usually they do it thinking that they're doing it for your own good. But I don't know. I don't understand what happens in that. What mentality makes people want to get involved to shut it down? And I had been preparing this little talk today. I was taking some notes, and someone posted something on Instagram. No, it was on Facebook, and we had a little dialogue about it. And it was about, let me just say, it reminded me, it wasn't this very thing, but it reminded me of the whole thing where there was a thing for a while. It's like, don't throw rice at weddings because you'll kill the birds. Have you heard that? People will tell you that, and it still goes on today. If you throw rice at weddings, you'll kill the birds. If you look that up, that's not true. That's actually a legend, and a bad one too. There's no truth to it. Absolutely no truth to it. And what happened is someone just, for some reason, didn't like people throwing rice, didn't like them having fun, decided, let's make something of this. So they had to put a stop to it. Now, I first noticed this happening just a few years ago, let's just say close to 10 years ago, when it came to vaping, all right? I did some vaping. Still, I don't do it as much as I used to, but vaping was still kind of new. And all of a sudden, well, for the most part, there were like vape stores everywhere, but nobody really knew what it was. And the kids knew. Young people were doing it. The people who weren't exhumers, they knew. And they were doing it. And people gradually caught on. And so what happens is, here's what I think happens is it probably started out a lot of, millennials, I bet. So the millennials, I think, were outside the concerts blowing the big smoke, big clouds. And the boomers and the Gen X people were like, I would like to do that, but I don't even know what that is. How are they doing that? I can't figure it out. It's got to be, there's got to be something wrong with it. We can't let them have fun without us. We're going to have to check into this and put a stop to it as soon as possible. All right, that's what I think happened. And they did, and they checked into it, and they couldn't figure out anything wrong with it. What's wrong with it? They're inhaling water vapor, okay? Water vapor. The chemicals that are in it, there's some flavoring. There's I can't remember the chemicals right now off the top of my head. It's the same stuff that's in food. You eat it. It's not poison. You eat it. And they're putting that into their body. And then some people are putting nicotine in it. Now, that's your danger. That's your poison right there, your nicotine. But not everybody did it. Not everybody did it in huge doses. And some people did it to get off cigarettes. But no, that wasn't good, because I don't understand how they could do that. So let's stop them from it. They should not be allowed to blow these giant clouds that looks like a lot of fun without me being able to do it too. And I think that's what happened, because I think a lot of people they judged it completely on the fact that it looks like cigarette smoke. which cigarette has scientifically been proved to be dangerous. Vaping, I've never seen a study that really just like straight out says it's dangerous. Obviously, you're putting things into your body, especially if you're putting nicotine in your body. There's going to be some issues. Young people under 18, good chance shouldn't be doing it, especially the nicotine. I never vaped the nicotine. I always just did zero nicotine. Just had the flavor. You just you're sucking in water vapor. How's that bad for you? There's not a lot of chemicals. There's not fillers. There's not poisons in it. But people didn't understand it. And because they didn't understand it, they had to give them a bad time. They had to take it away. And so for a long time, I started passing these laws. It made it really difficult for kids and anybody else just to go in and get vape cartridges. Tried to shut down some of the big companies. They're still in some ways trying to do it, but I feel like they've kind of lost the interest. I don't know if maybe they've woken up to the fact that woken up to the fact that there's science that says there's nothing really wrong with this. I mean, it's not like cigarette smoking. But still, they're having fun, and we can't allow that to happen, right? Can't allow that to happen. And so here's another example. I was reading about this, and I'm not going to say the guy's name, all right? He's a popular religious figure, all right? He's a popular meditation teacher, guru kind of guy. And a couple years ago, I came across this article about this guy and about how his entire organization was like this cult. There was some weird sex stuff happening. There was some control stuff happening. There was some abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and some stuff happening. People were coming out and talking about it. And this guy's got a reputation, like an international reputation. You say his name, a lot of people who are into that kind of stuff know who I'm talking about. And there was this article just exposed his organization. It hasn't shut it down. He's still popular, still doing stuff. But, it's just a matter of time before he's going to be one of these documentaries on Hulu or Netflix or something. People are going to be watching it going, holy crap, that happened? But he's still going on. But this expose kind of uncovered all this stuff, which I thought was really good. And I was glad somebody did that. And then not too long after that, I noticed that they targeted another kind of a spiritual leader, we shall say. This was not a Christian. Well, it's not like TV evangelists. I mean, there was the age when TV evangelists got exposed. But this was someone who also has a big following. And I started reading the article. I was like, holy crap, this person too? And I started reading the article, and what I found was there was nothing there. Basically, the person, I think what happened was they did such a great article at first. They got such big attention uncovering this. They just like, we got to do another one. We got to do a follow-up really quick. And so they just kind of picked someone, I guess, that kind of irritated them. The other people were getting some benefit from it. They didn't like it. Let's bring them down. So they did another article, and I read it, and I'm like, there's nothing here. It's basically just, this seems kind of weird to me. I don't understand what's happening here. Maybe there's nothing illegal, but it sure seems strange. And that was the whole article. They really didn't have anything. There was no explosive revelations about this person. And it just became a thing where it's just like, now let's just target people who are trying to help. And I not too long ago, I read an article. You know who? What's her name? Brene Brown. Brene Brown. Am I saying that right? I know a lot of people who like her, and I don't know anything about her at all. I know very little about her. I haven't read any of her stuff. I've seen her presence around, and people quote her a lot, and she seems to have helped a lot of people. I was reading some stuff about her today, trying to research. Nothing scandalous that I could find, but someone just did an article, and it was just like, this is just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just like, because you don't understand it, you're going to bring it down. You're going to tear it apart. You're going to take it away from people. What is that inclination that we have to do that? I see it happen a lot. You get a lot of people who are enjoying themselves. A great example would be the Barbie movie, right? Tons and tons of people are seeing this Barbie movie. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know really anything about it. But there's a lot of people who haven't seen it who are trying to tear it down even though they haven't seen it. Why? It irritates them that somebody's having fun. Something means something to someone, and so I can't handle that. I got to take it apart. Can't let people have fun in this world. And I see it happening over and over and over with it's kind of a human thing. Is it just our society, or is it really a human thing? Podcasts, right? There are people who can't understand podcasts. They're like, I don't listen to podcasts. And like, well, then why are you sarcastic about it? If you don't know what a podcast is, and a lot of people don't know. And when you don't know, it's just like, yeah, I got no time for the podcasts. I got lots of movies to watch. I listen to the radio. But we do that. We want to tear it down if we don't understand it. We got to stop doing that, people. We got to stop doing that. I just feel like anytime that you build a successful organization or business that's based on making people feel good, you're going to become a target. I don't know why. People are like, we can't do it. They're suspicious of it. And there's a lot of people who are suspicious of any kind of thing that is either spiritual or self-help. You know, it's just like, you can't make yourself feel good. Crazy people trying to make people think that they're okay. No. Why do they care? Why do people not want other people to get healthy, to be mentally sound? It's just a very weird knee-jerk reaction in life. I say, let's lighten up. Let's let people have fun. You know, we're all here for just a short amount of time. If you want to listen to your podcast, that's fine. Just listen to podcasts. Have fun. Go watch the Barbie movie. It's great. Look, join a cult. Join a sex cult if you want to. That's okay. I don't care. I just say let people have their fun while they're able to have fun, and just as long as you're not hurting other people or doing things that hurt. See, that's the thing. I think there's a lot of people who are hurt inside, and they can't understand why other people don't hurt, and it becomes their mission. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to make them hurt the way that I'm hurt. All right. I guess I'm going to jump off my soapbox. I want to thank everyone for listening. Hi, how are you? Hey, look, I'm videotaping. Look, and it's not even a tape. I'm video, what do they call it? Video recording. I'm video recording. I want to thank everybody out there for watching. You don't have to watch the video. If you listen to the podcast first, there's nothing you're going to get out of the video. I did not put any kind of subliminal messages in it. I have not shown my naked body. So you don't have to watch this unless you just want to. But thank you for supporting this podcast, for joining me, watching and listening. And just for those who this might be a new experience, try to do two when there's no storms. I try to do 2 podcasts a week, Monday and Thursday, preferably. Often it happens that it comes out Tuesday and Friday. I don't know why, but I think I fixed that. I think I have. I did some work this week, and I think I fixed it. Anyway, just download the podcast, subscribe, be a friend, say hi to me every once in a while. I need that kind of support and verification. I need to feel like I'm doing something important. We exhumers are very insecure. Bye now.